بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين نحمده ونشكره على نعمائه في السراء والضراء ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وخاتم المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين الصحبة الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah you are all doing well and fully recovered from the frigid Arctic temperature or Arctic conditions that we had to deal with a few days ago. For me, coming back from the Middle East with mild temperature over there, both in Iraq and Iran, to suddenly temperatures below 35 degrees below zero was unthinkable. I took some pictures and sent them back to friends in Iraq, and they were astonished to see American houses fully frozen in New York and other places. Tonight, being the anniversary of the death of Umm al-Banin, an interesting character, one of the wives of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that the whole story about her life begins with this hadith from Amir al-Mu'mineen to his brother Aqil. يا عقيل انظر لي امرأة قد ولدتها الفحولة من العرب فأتزوجها فتلدني غلاما فارسا. وعقيل, search for me or look for a partner for me that has grown in a tribe that is known for their bravery and fearlessness, so that she will bear a son for me equally fearless and brave. All the stories about al-Banin and how she came to marry Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salam alayhi starts with this hadith. That Amir al-Mu'mineen commanded Aqil and instructed him to search for a good partner, and he was specific that he was looking for a partner that would bear a child or children that are brave, fearless, and so this hadith constitutes the basis of it. But who was Umm al-Banin? Unfortunately, when we come to recognize or at least read about her, we have extremely sketchy and fragmented history about her life. Aqil pointed out to a particular tribe, tribe of Kalabiyya, and in particular Fatima bint Hizab and Kalabiyya, one of the members of this tribe, saying that this tribe is well known in the Arabs for being highly educated. Their male members of the tribe are extremely fearless and were recognized as brave within the Arab community and Arab tribes. So he gave the name and ultimately became the intermediary to go to the family of Fatima bint Hizam and ask her hand for Amir al-Mu'mineen. Despite the fact that we have so much about this unique character, how she was brought up, and she was a poet in itself, and few of her poems are listed within the books. But information, historical information, is very sketchy and fragmented as to exactly what happened to her after marrying Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah wasalam alayhi. And then she reappears at the end of the incident of Karbala, when the family go back to Medina, and the life of Umm al-Banin, again, the character is something that is discussed in history. I'm not surprised, and this is one of the shortcomings for us, the Shia community. We really have no clue about the life of the wives of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salam alayhi beyond Fatima al-Zahra. If we want to talk about them, how we know that Amir al-Mu'mineen had, according to historians, 27 or 28 children. But who were the mothers? Hardly anyone knows within the Shia community, let alone outside the Shia community, as who are these partners. We certainly know Fatima al-Zahra. From the marriage, we have at least 4 and possibly 5, depending on whether Fatima al-Zahra had a second girl called Kulthum or not. That's the debate. But certainly Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Zainab salamullah alayha, and Muhsin that she lost. But that doesn't make 27 or 28 children. What about the others? Where are the mothers? According to historical tradition, Fatima al-Zahra, before her death, made a wasiyah, or an advice, gave advice to Amir al-Mu'mineen that after her death he should marry her cousin, or Imama bint al-As. Imama bint al-As is the daughter of Zainab, which is Khadija's daughter from the previous marriage. That if you were to marry this lady, because of closeness of the age, she will be able to look after my children in the best possible way. So Amir al-Mu'mineen, after the demise and the martyrdom of Fatima al-Zahra, marries Imama bint al-As. From this marriage, it's one son called Muhammad al-Awsat. And then we don't know anything about her life. Very little. This is why I say, literally, if you want to go back and paint a good picture, we have heard about reverse engineering when we talk about reverse reading of history. You have to start with something that establishes the fact and then move backward, trying to establish other facts around it to give you a better picture. As far as Imama bint al-As, we really have no knowledge after the marriage with Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salam alayhi. And the birth of Muhammad al-Awsat, what happened? The second wife is Asma bint Umays. Asma is well-known character in the early history of Islam, among the early women that converted to Islam and accepted the prophecy of the Holy Prophet. Married Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, the brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salam, and traveled with him to Habasha, part of the first migration out of Mecca. Stayed with Ja'far until they went back to Medina after the Hijrah, after the incident of Khaybar. And there is a famous hadith from the Holy Prophet ﷺ, when Ja'far and a number of the immigrants from Habasha, they returned to Medina, and the Holy Prophet said, I don't know whether I should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the victory in Khaybar, or should I thank him for the arrival of Ja'far, because the Holy Prophet had huge, good and compassionate relationship with Ja'far as well. So Asma bint Umays married Ja'far, and from that relationship came at least 3 children, 3 boys: Abdullah, Aun, and Muhammad. Abdullah is the husband of Sayyida Zainab sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those of you who remember the discussion we had during Ashura, Abdullah ibn Ja'far is the husband of Sayyida Zainab. And there were two other children. We don't know whether both of them remained in Medina or both of them joined the family in Karbala. We have no clear evidence. Asma, after the martyrdom of Ja'far, Abu Bakr came and asked her hand and married Abu Bakr. From the marriage with Abu Bakr was Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, the son of Abu Bakr, half-brother of Aisha. And you know, during the Battle of Siffin, when finally Aisha was defeated, Amir al-Mu'mineen sent her to Medina, it was Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr that was accompanied with her to go to Medina and deliver her safe and sound to Medina. So, half-brother. Half-brother with the difference that although the father was Abu Bakr, but grew up in the lap of the Amir al-Mu'mineen and within the family of Amir. After the death of Abu Bakr, Asma married Ali ibn Abi Talib, the brother of her ex-husband. And out of this marriage came one son. Some people say Yahya, and other people say the same person is not known as Aun. So far we have established Fatima as number one. After the martyrdom of Fatima Zahra comes Umama bint al-As, and after that comes Asma bint al-As. Literally 10 years passes from the demise of Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha, that we have this incident of Amir al-Mu'minin telling Aqil to go and search for him a partner with unique characteristics. Those of you who speak Arabic, Shaikh al-Wa'ili has a number of lectures on Umm al-Banin and about the history of Umm al-Banin. It's anecdotal. It talks about early history of Umm al-Banin, which is the marriage, the characteristics of the tribe, etc., etc. But what surprises me is that, again, like other characters, other wives of Amir al-Mu'mineen, early part are mentioned, then they go into some kind of eclipse, and we know nothing about it. Asma, we know little bit about her, because Fatima Zahra, Khadija instructed her to remain with Fatima Zahra during the night of her wedding. So Asma was around. But what happened, and again, we know that Asma was alive during the martyrdom of Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But what role she played, despite the fact that she was among the early converts to Islam and very well respected within the Muslim community, what role she played beyond being the wife of Ali ibn Abi Talib is silent. History is silent. Then comes Fatima bint Hizam al-Kalabiyya, which is what also known as Umm al-Banin. It's from the within Shia understanding of history, she is well known, well respected as the person who married Amir al-Mu'mineen after the instruction that Amir al-Mu'mineen gave to Aqil, and out of this marriage comes 4 boys. They are Abbas, which is the oldest, Abdullah, Ja'far, and Habib. These 4 boys, all of them were martyred in Karbala. We know about that historically. But we don't know exactly when they were married, when she was born. Historians claim that 5th year after Hijrah, she was born in Kufa, because that was the domain where Bani al-Kalabiyya they were living. So she was born in Kufa. If that version of history is correct, then she is the same age as Zainab sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because if you look at the birth of the children of Ali from Fatima. Ali and Fatima, they were married on the 2nd year of Hijrah. First son, Imam Hassan, is born on the 3rd. Second son on the 3rd. Zainab Salamullah alayha, either the 4th or the 5th year after Hijrah. So around that age. If Fatima bint Hizam or Umm al-Banin was born, if that version of history that she was born on the year 5th after Hijrah, then makes her the same age as Zainab Salamullah. Historians then, after talking about how the marriage took place, they say nothing about her life. In the same manner, the Sayyida Zainab Salamullah, very little is known between, say, after the demise of the Holy Prophet, under the auspices of Amir al-Mu'mineen as a father, and developing as a scholarly character. What did she do for us to discover her when she was 55 years old in Karbala? We know some anecdotal, fragmented historical evidence to say that when Amir al-Mu'mineen established his center in Kufa, she certainly established a school, an education, a school for the ladies, for the sisters, and the women in Kufa. But what about Umm al-Banin? During this period, what did she do in Medina? One of the fundamental questions that we have, that history is silent about it, similar to Abdullah ibn Ja'far, the husband of Sayyida Zainab, why didn't they participate in Karbala? Historians claim that Fatima or al-Banin had the highest respect for Imam Hussein. And if you go to the history at the time of arrival of Ahlul Bayt to Medina, when Imam Zain al-Abidin sends Bashir to go and inform people of Medina, and particularly al-Banin, that the family are coming in, she asks about Imam Hussein first. So Bashir says, I would like to offer my condolence for the martyrdom of your son, Abbas. She says, forget about my son. I want to know what happened to Hussein. Then the second son, then the third son, and ultimately the Bashir says, I would like to offer my condolence for Imam Hussein as well. That is when she begins weeping. So she has the highest respect for Imam Hussein, but yet she is nowhere to be seen even at the time of departure of Imam Hussein from Medina. Why? Now scholars have started talking about whether she was ill or whatever. We have no evidence. Claims are made, but we have no evidence that al-Banin was ill or sick at the time of the departure of Imam Hussein from Medina. What happened between her life, to her, between the departure and the arrival, which is close to 7 months or 8 months. If we assume that Imam Hussein and the family left Medina around middle of Rajab 60 after Hijrah, and then they went back after, say, Safar, beginning of Safar, or around the end of Safar of the 61 after Hijrah. What did she do during this period? We know nothing. What did she do after the marriage or after the demise of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah sallam? Certainly she didn't get married. This is a fact. Historians claim, despite the fact that she was young and there were a number of people asking her hand, but she refused to get married, stating that after Ali, no partner. If you have the best, you do not settle for anything else. That was her statement. So we really have nothing about her life. Then exactly when did they get married? Again, we don't know. We certainly can go to the life of Abul Fadl Abbas and walk backward. Historians claim that Abbas participated in the Battle of Siffin at the age of 16, 17. If he was 16 or 17, the Battle of Siffin, which was 37 after Hijrah, that leaves the birth around 20 after Hijrah, which means the marriage took place 19 after Hijrah. And that makes Fatima or al-Banin around 16 or 17 years old to the marriage. What about other wives of Amir al-Mu'minin? This was a debate. I looked at nearly 32 articles about al-Banin, and none of them. And listened to Ahmed al-Wa'ili and a few others. They all start the life of al-Banin with the saying of Amir al-Mu'minin that I look for somebody qualified with these characteristics, gets married, has 4 children. These are the 4 children that they move to Ashura, and then after Ashura, with the arrival of Ahlul Bayt, nothing about al-Banin in between. It's a huge gap for us, whether it's the life of Zainab sallallahu alayhi wa. What happened to other wives of Amir al-Mu'minin after al-Banin? We certainly have Khawla, which is Khawla Hanafiya, the mother of Muhammad ibn Hanafiya. And I believe if it wasn't for the association of al-Banin having 4 children that were martyred in Karbala, I don't think we would have, as Shia or historians, we would have paid much attention to the life of these individuals. Khawla bint Hanafiya, Khawla al-Hanafiya, the mother of Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, which is one of the sons of Amir. You all know or should know that at least the relationship between Muhammad ibn Hanafiya and Maytham and Mukhtar, the Mukhtar uprising in Kufa, and various claims being made that he called himself, is to be substantiated. I haven't seen any document to prove it himself, that Muhammad ibn Hanafiya called himself an Imam or Mahdi or something, and Mukhtar joined him. It's a claim made, I haven't seen it. Again, Khawla died at the year 35 after Hijrah. We don't have any information about it. The number of others that were married, again, we have a few other wives that have been mentioned in history. al-Banin has become, on the one hand, a highly revered, respected individual, according to the history, extremely educated, from a good family background, the mother of 4 of Amir al-Mu'minin's children, that they all were martyred in Karbala, but similar to the life of Zainab sallallahu alayhi wa. Despite being respected, we really don't have a full sketch. It's fragmented sketch of her life. After the return of Ahlul Bayt to Medina, she and Zainab sallallahu alayhi wa became the champion for informing Medina and standing up against Yazid and everybody else. Historians claim that she used to take the small child of Abbas with her to Baqiyah and sit over there and cry, and people would come around her telling them about what happened to her children and Imam Hussein and the whole incident of Karbala. Even they say Marwan al-Hakam, that used to be the Wali of Medina, could not help himself if he passed the Baqiyah to listen to this weeping and become tearful. Those of you who have gone to either Umrah or Hajj, when you go to Baqiyah, if you walk in, if you look at on the right hand side, whatever is left of the burial places for our Imams, you go to the left hand side, you walk, and then you see a sign saying that Fatima bint Khuwaylid or Umm al-Banin's tomb is over there. Now, you really need to have a map to identify the tomb. She stayed 2 years, she was alive at least 2 years after the life of Zainab. Although Zainab was removed, exiled from Medina by Yazid because she was whipping up resistance against Ahlul Bayt, against Yazid, she was left in Medina, and ultimately she died year 64 after Hijrah, around the age of say 60. So this is a synopsis, a very a small, short biographical kind of story about the life of al-Banin. One thing that we can learn about it, go back to the hadith that I started earlier, at the beginning when Amir al-Mu'mineen tells Aqil, search for me a partner that has unique characteristics. Irrespective, this could become a lesson for us when we begin to search for partners. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, don't search for the rose that has grown into a trashy area where the background is weak. Search for a rose or a beauty that is solidly stationed and has root within Islam. This we can ascertain from this hadith, that when you want to search, the character of the mother is extremely critical in the upbringing of the child. It was al-Banin that would teach her children and to have utmost respect for their brothers, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. We have this regarding Abbas, Abu Fadl Abbas that says, never in his life called Imam Hussein as a brother, only once. Sayyidi wa Mawlai, yes, but never called Imam Hussein that, oh my brother. And only at the time of death, if you read the history, Ya akhi adrik akha, only at that particular moment, that the emotional part got to the stage where formal relationships are ignored and you appeal to the sense of family belonging. This kind of relationship, this kind of respect comes the way mother worked to teach her children. And the role of mothers in upbringing of the children, teaching them to behave well and submit to command of Islam and learn about understand Islam properly, these are critical issues. So when, particularly for the younger generation, the youth that are not married yet, when you start thinking about finding a partner, take this hadith in mind. Search for somebody. The concept of kuf in Islam means somebody who is not physically or materialistically equal to you, higher or lower. No, spiritually on the same level. Because ultimately, God forbid, if there are crises in the marriage, it's the spiritual depth and stability that comes to the rescue, not the material. Bear in mind, good characters, mothers, I mean, in the past people would not talk about it, but the X and Y chromosome, whatever, these are both the mother's part and the father's part are critical. Correct yourself and start searching for the kuf, a partner that ultimately will be able to pass proper gene to the children. I offer my condolence on the occasion of the departure or the anniversary of the death of Umm al-Banin alayhi salam, and strongly recommend that we really need to go back to the history and don't be selective in choosing one particular wife of Amir al-Mu'mineen or the other. have a good picture and understand the role of these wives in the social structure that they work. I'm sure they did work hard, but we are not told. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.